The Peña Blanca Protected Landscape and Seascape is situated on the island of Luzon, at the heart of the largest remaining natural rainforest in the Philippines. Unfortunately, limited livelihood opportunities have forced local communities to resort to slash-and-burn farming, irresponsible logging, and other unsustainable uses of forest lands for their survival. The resulting loss of forest threatens wildlife and watersheds, and contributes to climate change by releasing greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. To reverse these negative trends, Conservation International initiated the Peña Blanca Sustainable Reforestation Project. By promoting the restoration of forest lands and alternative livelihoods for local communities, the project is designed to mitigate climate change, support sustainable development, and conserve biodiversity.
As the newly planted trees grow, they sequester carbon, provide benefits to the communities, and protect the biodiversity of the area.
Carbon projects to restore forests offer the opportunity of new revenue for households. However, supporters of such projects want assurance that they are well managed and safeguards are in place to maintain project benefits. For this reason, the Climate Community and Biodiversity Alliance, a coalition of leading conservation organizations, created an internationally trusted standard to clearly set the bar for high-quality carbon project design. To demonstrate that the project follows these robust criteria, they contacted the Rainforest Alliance, an independent organization who can validate that the climate, community, and biodiversity standards were met.
In order to validate the project with respect to climate, community, and biodiversity standard, we will need to observe evidence that indicate trees would conserve carbon sequestered for a long period of time, and the well-being of the communities in and around the project area is not negatively impacted by the project activities, and the project is protecting the biodiversity of the area.
To meet the climate criteria, the Peña Blanca project will plant indigenous and fruit trees on degraded land. Trees store more carbon than the current land uses in the project area, so the project will result in a net carbon uptake. Rainforest Alliance foresters carefully check the math and equations to verify that the calculations correctly followed the carbon quantification methodology with a defensible baseline, and that monitoring protocols are in place. Some of the trees planted are species that grow rapidly and will provide wood that can be used for fuel by the local communities. The communities are also encouraged to use less firewood as fuel through the introduction of alternative sources, such as rice hulls. The project covers 5 communities that have been settled for over a century by the Atawi indigenous people. The income of half of the households is very low, and these families depend on corn farming and charcoal making for their livelihoods. The project is helping to increase household incomes. My name is Pius Severe. I am a farmer in Peña Blanca. Before I used to do some slash-and-burn farming. I also used to be a charcoal maker. Now that the Conservation International project is here, we have learned how to produce seedlings and how to plant trees. This doubled my income and has made life better for my family, as I am now able to send all of my children to school. Evaluating the quality of a project's involvement of local people in planning the project and sharing of benefits meant that the Rainforest Alliance evaluation team interviewed a cross-section of people and grassroots organizations, as well as local government. We checked to see that decisions affecting communities use participatory techniques, such as focus group discussions with sufficient time and respect for local culture. As is our normal practice, Philippine professionals trained in community forestry were part of the team. Planting trees is equally important for the health of the local people, as deforestation at the project site was causing increased flooding during the rainy season and droughts during the dry season, resulting in the loss of life and property. The soil erosion and biodiversity loss caused by deforestation also impacted the availability of potable water, since the local watershed was affected.
In order to maintain this ecosystem service and biodiversity in general, we planted only native trees, and especially trees that were threatened in the area. We focused on connecting forest patches to create larger forest areas that would serve to protect the wildlife. All this increased the biodiversity in the project area.
For the project to meet the biodiversity criteria, the Rainforest Alliance checked to see that the high conservation value forests in the project zone were correctly identified and protected, and that the new forest would further strengthen this conservation. By increasing the area of forest cover, wildlife habitat will be enhanced, essential for the conservation of the critically endangered Philippines eagle.
When we are validating a project, we would need to observe evidence that all predicted impacts such as displacement of woodfield gathering and animal grazing by local people are adequately addressed. We accept evidence from the project proponent, but we will talk to other people involved in the project or members of the local communities, and we will go out and see ourselves what is happening on the ground.
I've noticed project trees are growing successfully, changing the environment. And as a former charcoal maker, I now realize the importance of this for the future livelihood of my children. The Peña Blanca Sustainable Reforestation Project was successfully validated under the Climate, Community, and Biodiversity Standards at the Gold level for exceptional biodiversity benefits in December 2009. The expansion of forest cover in the project area has already led to signs of recovery within the landscape. In the near future, the project is expected to decrease soil erosion, increase water storage capacity, and lead to resurgence of bird and other species populations on reforested lands. Finally, the community is on its way to reduce 300,000 tons of carbon dioxide over the next 30 years, which will improve livelihoods while restoring ecosystems and fighting climate change.